We're a society in crisis. But what if we turned our disagreements into discussions, conflicts into opportunities? What if we acted a bit more civil? You see, civility can sweeten even the most bitter conversations. And at SHRM, we know people and businesses work best when we choose civility. So join me in starting 1 million civil conversations, because civility is a language we can all understand.
Hello, and welcome to the 4th annual Better Workplaces Challenge Cup presented by SHRMLabs, SHRM's Workplace Innovation Lab and Venture Capital Arm. I'm Steve Brown, Chief People Officer of La Rosas, Inc. I am the 2024 Better Workplaces Challenge Cup Ambassador, and I will be your host for these virtual events. Thanks for joining us. A special thanks to all of our 2024 chapter and state council partners for their support. Our friends at the Eastern Panhandle Society for Human Resource Management are hosting some exciting upcoming events, and you can scan the QR code here on the screen to register for those. As a reminder, the first round consists of 5 segments, each focused on a different category within HR. From here, 5 will emerge as the best in category winners, advancing to the semifinals. The top 3 from the semifinals will then battle for the 2024 Cup, live at this year's SHRM Annual Conference held this June in Chicago. We hope you can join us there. Let's get this second segment started. Today's focus will be on employee engagement solutions. You'll find in the chat the criteria these startups will be judged on today, and don't forget there's a public voting component. So after you listen to each company's pitch, you can cast your vote using the link in the chat of your favorite solution. The company with the most votes at the end of the segment will be named the People's Choice. Please note that the public vote will not have influence over the judge's decision. This event does qualify for 2 PDCs towards your SHRM CP or SCP certification, and we will provide the code at the end of the event. Now, help me in welcoming our judges for today. Angela Chang Simony, SVP, Talent and CHRO at the Harvard Business Publishing. Dedu Aegis John, Senior Director, South and Advisory Services, APAC and India at SHRM India. And David Hanrahan, Chief People Officer at Flare. Welcome to the stage, judges. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
So let's go ahead and get started. Please welcome our first participant, Milan Padone, co-founder and CEO of Move the Chain.
Hi, my name is Milan Padone, and I am the co-founder of Move the Chain, a holistic employee engagement platform that helps companies connect with their employees and for employees to feel part of the company's culture and stay connected regardless of the way that they choose to work. While remote work and hybrid work has had its benefits, the uncertainty and lack of connection wreaked havoc on the workforce. With more than 79% of employees saying that they feel disengaged at work, it's time to do something about it. That's why we decided to create a platform that promotes connection, engagement, and recognition. So how did we do that? Well, based on feedback we received that HR tools tend to be forgotten or employees simply don't know they exist, we decided to integrate our platform directly into the company's corporate chat system, like Slack and Teams, where employees spend the majority of their time. Here's a demo of how it works in Microsoft Teams. To get started, all employees will get pinged directly into Teams and asked to create a profile. While a lot of this information will be pre-filled, it will allow the employees to set their preferences, like if they want their company to celebrate their birthdays and anniversaries publicly. They can also add their preferred way to work, like hybrid or in person, and add the office that they work out of. Right there, they will be added to the office community to connect with peers that work at the same location, know what events are happening, etc. They can also add the causes and nonprofits they care about, which will help companies understand their employees' preferences and set the right fundraisers or corporate volunteering events. And finally, employees can pick their interests and hobbies. Those are all 100% customizable by the company. With this information, we will suggest and or recommend different communities to connect with peers with the same interests. Companies can also add their professional interests to create matching opportunities for mentor and mentees, as well as learning and development. And that's it. Employees can get started. With more than 6 modules, companies can enable everything from an intranet to social impact by simply downloading an app from their corporate chat system. Our intranets enable companies to personalize the employee experience, from customized messaging to personalized to-dos, to welcome birthdays and anniversary celebrations and other important informations and links. The event calendars are tailored to the employees' locations, departments, so employees can get access to information that pertains to them. We also enable gamified events to make sure that employees stay engaged and have fun with each other. And all of the photos are consolidated where employees can use tagging and likes to support each other's. Our communities leverage social feed to engage each other, and then also leverage event calendars, photos and videos, as well as recognition. We offer other features as well, like hybrid enablement to get employees excited to go back into the office, recognition, performance management, as well as social impact for a holistic customer experience. With our 3 beta clients in 2023, we have doubled the engagement seen in other platforms. While we are not done building, we are already seeing more engagement than we expected. By continuing to focus on the employees and what they need, we are excited to see where 2024 takes us. Looking forward to answering any questions you may have.
Great presentation, Milan, and welcome to the stage.
Thank you very much.
Angela, would you like to go ahead and get us started with the questions?
Yes.
Angela, you're on mute.
4 years in, still can't get that right. The solution that you're offering is very comprehensive. Can you tell me a little bit about why you chose to go from performance management to philanthropy, and how you think you can actually, to your point, move the chain on so many different dimensions?
Yeah, and that's a great question. So in 2023, we kind of really took a step back and took 3 clients as betas, a smaller one with 500 employees, a medium one with 5,000 employees, and a bigger one with 22,000 employees. And we said, what does it mean to feel engagement for, employees? And that's how we kind of develop, something that's comprehensive. Now, I know that, most tools kind of focus on one thing. We really truly believe that everything is connected, and we kind of targeted the specific features on each of these different modules to really create engagement. So this is how we feel like we can get breadth, but at the same time focus on the right things to engage the employees.
Okay. Thank you, Milan.
Thank you.
Great. Next question. Over to you, Dedu.
Thank you. So hi, Milan. Thank you so much for the presentation, and quite comprehensive, as Angela's mentioned. 2 specific things that I wanted to check on. One is that what are the kind of nudges that your platform provides to those who are not engaged? And also, what are some of the intelligent analytics, maybe 1 or 2 unique things that your platform throws and gives it to the managers to be able to identify those who are critical actors or those who are on flight risk, so on and so forth. So is that something that the platform does?
Yeah, absolutely. So I think what was important is to understand from on day one, when an employee starts, right? What are their interests and hobbies? What do they care about? What are the things that trigger them? And then we actually connect them with the right communities, the right events. So everything is personalized. So, and then we leverage, the notifications, the pings from Slack and Teams to really kind of engage them. I think, we have also comprehensive analytics to give to the companies and also to the managers to see who's engaged and who's not engaged and why, so they can kind of retarget. But given the personalization, what we've heard from employees is that it feels like the company truly cares about what they personally care about and connect them with folks that are aligned to what they're aligned to. And if they have professional goals, we align them to the right mentor. So I don't want to be too long-winded, but anyway, so I think it's the personalization. Through the personalization, we saw 3 times the engagement that other platforms sees for these companies. So we're truly proud, and we're trying to continue as well, listening to the employees and improving our platform. So I hope I answered your question.
Yes. And does it also provide the nudges that I asked for
Yes.
the less engaged ones? Okay, it does. Thank you.
Yes.
That's about it. Thank you.
Great. Last question over to you, David.
Hello. Hey, thanks for the demo. It feels like, when I'm watching the demo, it feels like another social intranet. And so what I'm curious about is, what I want to make sure of is, what's the problem? What's the central problem that Move the Chain is trying to solve?
Yep.
And like, what would you expect as like a business outcome? So not just engaging in the platform, but like, what business outcome would Move the Chain drive?
Yeah, and I think most startup, I think I'm not different than others. I think most startups start with like a problem that we're trying to solve. And I had this problem when I was at corporate. So before I actually left to start this company, we went through hybrid work and remote work, and I felt completely disconnected. And there was a time where employees were getting hired left and right. I don't know if you remember, around 2021, 2022. And then the employees were starting at the company, and then they didn't know what the vision was, what the culture was, how to get connected with others, right? So this was something that I wanted to solve, and asking around was something that also others felt. So the idea is to solve the engagement from day one and make employees feel connected to the company's culture right away. And then to give personalization so they feel like they're important and they're being heard. So that's the main core problem that I think a lot of employees feel, because there's more than 79% of disengagement. And then we're trying to solve right off the bat at onboarding and throughout the whole experience of working at the company.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Milan. We will now let the judges write down their notes as well as their scores on the judging sheet. While they do this, how can attendees find out more information about Move the Chain?
They can go to our website, movethechain.com, and contact us if they have any questions and thoughts. I'd be happy to answer any of them.
Excellent. Thanks for being here, and thanks for being a participant in the competition.
Thank you so much for having us.
Let's bring to the stage our next participant. Next, we have Justin Lessard-Weitzer, CEO of Neuro.
Hi, everyone. My name is Justin, neuroscientist and founder of Neuro, where we elevate the employee experience with AI-driven coaching for managers. Remember when you were first a manager, how difficult it was to deal with hygiene issues, having a delicate conversation with your employee, motivating your team, enforcing policies? Managing people is never easy. And that's why at Neuro we've developed an emotionally attuned chatbot helping managers better manage people. We are second-time founders, HR professionals, scientists, data engineers with one mission: to make the world work better together. As you know, the modern workforce is plagued by bad employee experience, and managers are unfortunately the number one cause. But why? In one word, inexperience. Over 66% of managers have less than 2 years on the job. They're thrown into the deep end with no life vest, managing complexities that they're not prepared for. And that costs business trillions in turnover. Enter Neuro, a lifeline for these managers, because they can also be the solution for better employee experience if only they had the right tools and support. Traditional executive coaching solutions are great, but they are reserved for the elite, right? The top 5% of managers who can actually afford it. Our platform, accessible via a web app, is easy to use and designed for the front lines. First, we resonate with the user. Then, we initiate a conversation. And finally, we foster an evolving coaching relationship that continuously learns from them and your organization. And that brings us to our secret sauce, which lies in our patent-pending algorithms that not only learn from the manager, but the community of managers within an organization, the best practices of their industry, and organizational specifics, such as internal policies, EAPs, training materials, ensuring that the e-coach is always tailored and compliant. Add to that our novel enterprise intelligence dashboard that reduces legal risk for HR with real-time internal policy updates and proactive coaching for new hires based on the challenges of their predecessor. Our business model is simple and straightforward. We sell to medium to large size organizations and a network of distributors like HR consultants, all for only $15 per manager per month. You should invest in us because we've iterated, we've tested, and we've proven that it works, with demonstrated ROI and over 50% adoption by our users. We've already secured substantial contracts, and we're on track to reach $1.2 million in ARR by June 2024, and we have a pipeline of leading brands across North America. Now, it's our time to scale. We are raising $2 million with over $1.5 million already secured from institutional and private investors. Neuro isn't just another software. It's a revolution to build a healthier, more efficient, and more emotionally intelligent workplace for all of us. I really do look forward to collaborating with all of you. Thank you so much.
Thanks for that presentation, Justin, and welcome to the stage.
Thank you. Hi, everyone.
For this round, Dedu, would you like to get us started?
Absolutely, please. Thanks a lot, Justin, for that wonderful presentation with a lot of data, and also I like the word emotionally intelligent, platform that you spoke about towards the end. But my question is related to that part itself of the emotionally intelligent work platform. What I hear you and what I gathered from your website also is that it's an AI-based chatbot as a coach for the frontline workforce. So you have not really covered about how does your tool or a platform manage to mitigate the biases and the misled information, because it's just collating the information from different platforms. So I just want to hear that how are you trying to take care of that part of it?
That's a great, thank you, Dedu, for the question. That's a great question. And we hear it often. So what we put in place on our platform, and as a scientist, this is super important for us, is we put in place the same types of edge case testing. So we always keep a human in the loop on our platform to make sure that there's no misinformation that happens on our platform. And we also automate different processes that make sure that we're actually flagging for biases on our platform. So we use very similar tests and similar evaluations that humans would use, or we would use with humans to test, unconscious biases and stuff like that. And we integrate it and automate it on the platform. So we really make sure, both through the automated version and also by having a human in the loop, always making sure that our platform is not biased, and it always gives the optimal answer to the managers.
Sure. Thanks, Justin.
Thank you,
David. Great. Next question, over to you, David.
Hi, Justin. Very cool. It sounds like this is an AI chatbot that can assist managers with, delicate matters, let's just say. What I'm curious about is, why would I need Neuro if I can just go to ChatGPT and say, hey, I've got this complicated, nuanced situation with employee. What's your advice? Why would using Neuro, like ingesting internal information as well as external, like, hey, here's advice for you as a manager on this topic? What's an example of, like, by using Neuro, it can give me tailored information specific to, like, my company and my context?
Well, there's multiple parts to that question. I'm going to answer with first of all, at the core of our approach is the belief that emotional intelligence is not peripheral, but truly central to effective, information uptake. And we built our technology and our patent pending algorithms that it doesn't just deliver content, but also cultivates a rich and emotionally aware learning environment for our managers. So typical models, they typically digest data in a very, just at face value. What we designed with Neuro is really a model that considers the emotional and human dimensions of the challenges faced by users in their environment, right? We encourage users to broaden their perspectives and empathy by incorporating prompts that, challenge users to reflect on their biases, on their preconceptions. We also help users identify and articulate their emotions as well as those of their peers to build like a more comprehensive understanding of each situation. And by providing this safe and confidential and open forum to our managers, we see that it really creates an inclusive learning culture that values, I would say, emotional honesty and vulnerability with our managers. So that's one point. It's all the AI that we've created to understand managers' emotions. So going beyond what's written. And the second part of that question is in terms of data confidentiality. I'm sure as an HR professional, you're similar to me. You don't want to have your confidential data leaked to OpenAI or going out to these large language models that you don't know where that data is going, right? So what we secured in place here for organizations is we make sure that the data stays within the organization. So employee data and all that stays confidential to the organization. I think that is a key component of our product as well. I hope that answered your question, David.
Thank you.
Great. Last question for this section. Over to you, Angela.
Yeah, the perils of going last. Edu and David have anticipated my questions. So we'll take a slightly different pivot. What happens in the instance where the manager should be getting advice, for example, legal advice, that extends beyond what Neuro can offer?
That's a great point, Angela. So we put in place, we work with the HR teams of all our clients, every organization, to make sure that we're in line with their policies and we're in line with we put in place a flagging mechanism. So if there's an issue that is not suited to be resolved by the e-coach, we make sure to put in contact that person with the HR professional, their supervisor, depending on the level of the organization, to make sure that they have direct contact to the right person for that question. If it's a legal question in this case, it might be the HR business professional or the legal team. But we make sure that we flag all these different cases and we make sure to bring the user to the right people within the organization.
Okay. Thank you, Justin.
Thank you, Angela.
Justin. Now, since we're going to let the judges write down their notes as well as their scores on the judging sheet, while they do this, how can attendees find out more about Neuro?
Well, if anyone wants to try our platform out, we have a free demo that we just launched earlier this week on our website. So nurau.com, neuro.com. You have access to try out our demo. And if you want to book a call with us, it would be our pleasure, all on our website. So thank you so much.
Great. Thanks so much for being here, for being a participant and a competitor in the contest. Next, we are going to hear from the people of Pin People.
Hi, my name is Isabella, and I'm one of the founders of Pin People. Pin People was born with the purpose of helping people succeed at work by combining organizational psychology, data science, and technology to help organizations measure, understand, and act on end-to-end employee experience data. We are experiencing a global engagement crisis at work. Low engagement results in over $8 trillion in productivity losses in addition to stress and mental health issues. And all this significantly increases the turnover rate of organizations. Pin People helps organizations identify what needs to be done to attract, engage, and retain talent. We do this by reducing the employee experience gap, the gap between what employees expect and need from work and what organizations actually build as employee value proposition. Our solution enables our clients to deploy surveys and capture feedback from their employees and through AI-powered reports to understand what is happening and building actions that help their people succeed from interview to exit. Currently, we offer 4 experience management models: candidate, onboarding, journey, and offboarding experience. And why focus on EX now? The global EX market is estimated at over $300 billion. Surveys account for $6 billion just in Brazil and the USA. Moreover, EX is often named one of the biggest future trends in HR, which has led to exponential growth in the experience measurement market in the recent years. We position ourselves as a software as a service solution that is methodological, robust, and yet at the same time modern and simple to use, filling the gap left in the enterprise market by overly complex and expensive solutions, such as Qualtrics and traditional solutions that lack technology and AI, like the consulting firms Korn Ferry and Mercer. Our founders bring together a solid background with decades of experience in areas such as human resources, data science, and technology, including previous experiences working in successful startups. Pin People is recognized as one of the most promising HR tech companies in Latin, but our numbers and our clients speak louder than any external recognition. We have supported more than 500 companies and impacted over 1 million people across 5 continents through more than 5 million surveys sent. Today, we serve large leading organizations in various industries, consistently achieving an exceptional NPS range. We are available to talk more about how we are helping to create companies where people truly want to work. Thank you very much.
Well, it was great to hear from Isabella. And
Yes.
here today answering questions is Federico Lacerda, co-founder and CEO of Pin People. So let's get started with David.
Hello. What I'm curious about is, it seems like this is a survey platform that can be applied to multiple different stages of the employee life cycle. What would make this a must-have tool versus all the other survey platforms I could use in the various stages of the employee life cycle?
Okay, thank you for the question, David. So we believe that as any software in the HR industry now, you should focus on having everything in the same platform. So the first answer is we think that you should be using the same platform for sending surveys to your employees, as this will allow you to see the life cycle in the same place. So as we do these questions and the surveys with our platform and our technology, we can actually build this life cycle with all the data connected, showing what is happening with people. And with that, using AI, we can also help our clients to understand what they could do, for example, in the onboarding process that will impact the experience or the turnover chances when this person is 6 months or 9 months ahead in the company. So that's mostly why we believe that this will be different of using other platforms. That's it.
Okay, thank you.
Great. Angela, you're up next.
So to follow on, did I hear you say, Federico, that your platform will also provide solutions to pain points that are lifted through the surveys?
Yes. So we believe, as we work with enterprise companies, so we are mainly focused on big corporations, and we usually hear from our clients that they need help from us to know what to do after they are analyzing the results of the surveys. So we actually solve this problem in 2 ways. First, we developed a consulting services area inside Pin People. It is really small, close to our product practice, but it is helping our clients to know what to do based on their survey results. And we are using technology to power this service part of our business. So we actually developed an algorithm using artificial intelligence as well, that is helping our clients to analyze the results of the surveys and to identify what should be the focus of their action plans if they want to increase, for example, their ENPS or to reduce the turnover. We are using technology to solve that problem. And we are also helping our clients to actually build the action plan inside Pin People. So we developed also a functionality focused on action planning. So business partners and managers can actually follow the action plans inside Pin People and see if these actions are doing impact on the next surveys that are launched through our platform.
And that's a separate solution. You have to pay extra for that?
The service is, yes, that's an extra solution. But the plan is actually to add this to the main solution as an add-on, as an advanced analytic solution. The action planning part is already inside the main solution.
Thank you.
Great. And the last question for this section, Deidu.
Yes, thanks. So Federico, my specific question is towards the application form that I was going through of yours last night. You spoke about how your ARR is towards, 1, the sales development, and number 2, development of new AI. So I'm just inquisitive to understand that how would you want to use the proceeds towards the development of new AI, and what is the plan for that? So what's the new AI that you're looking at?
So what is the new AI that we are developing,
future,
right?
right?
Yeah. So
Yeah.
So in terms of the use of artificial intelligence, so we already have some features inside our platform that use artificial intelligence, specifically focus on helping our clients to analyze the comments of the surveys. So as we work with big corporations, when you do a survey in a big company, you get like 10,000, 15,000, 20,000 open comments, right? And it's really hard to analyze this data. And there's a lot of insights on the qualitative data. So we already have some models that are helping our clients to analyze this data, but we are looking to increase the use of AI inside people, specifically to predict employee turnover. So this is something that we are doing as already, but not inside the platform in real time. So looking into the data that you have from previous surveys and crossing this information with, for example, the turnover data that you have in your payroll, we can actually predict the chances of turnover in the next day, surveys real time. So this is an example of AI that we are developing. And we also have this vision of creating an AI assistant that is actually going to replace the survey platform. So we really believe that the way that we can disrupt our own solution is to make surveys something old. So you shouldn't need a survey to know how your employees are. And we are starting to develop this assistant that will actually be talking to people at every moment and capturing data that will allow our clients to see the survey result without delivering a survey.
Sure, got that. Just one bit. So yours just one-time surveys across the talent management, or you also have pulse surveys?
Sorry.
Pulse surveys are surveys that are deployed on a daily basis, not one at a time.
Yes, we are really flexible. We believe that the companies they should apply surveys depending on how their maturity, their survey and data maturity is. So we actually deploy pulse surveys in some clients, and we have other clients that do a different model. So we are actually really flexible, and usually we start our partnership with our clients, deciding with them what will be the survey agenda, what will be the subjects, the questions, and that's something that we do really specific to each client.
Sure. Thank you. Thanks a lot.
Thank you so much.
Great. Thanks, Federico. As our judges do their notes and scoring on their sheets, how can people find out more information about Pin People?
Yeah, you can visit our website. It is in Portuguese, Brazilian Portuguese, but you can actually translate it if you want. We are really focused on the Brazilian market, although we do surveys in more than 10 countries in 3 or 4 languages, but pinpeople.com.br.
Great. Thank you so much for being here. And
thank you so much.
Let's bring up our fourth participant. Next, we have Vip Samarakun, co-founder and CTO of Quali.
Hi, I'm Charlie, co-founder and CEO of Quali. An alarming 85% of people are disengaged at work, leading to 30% lower productivity, 50% quiet quitting, and a labor crisis in the US. This is not solved by better office snacks, ping pong tables, or cliche pizza parties. Authentic engagement comes when every voice is heard and every talent is nurtured. Could one solution deliver both? Quali is the employee experience platform that accelerates alignment and drives belonging by digitizing people processes and analyzing engagement. This results in clients achieving higher productivity, retention, and understanding across all generations in the workplace. Our AI-powered platform is established on 3 pillars. First, journeys, to bring people up to speed. Through a sequence of interactive steps, employers set their employees up on an exciting multimedia journey in the organization, whether it be for pre-boarding, onboarding, learning and upskilling, or offboarding. Second, compliance. Automate mandatory requirements, including form filling, e-signatures, ID verification, and whistleblowing. Third, engagement. This pillar offers bite-sized eNPS surveys, data analysis, and reporting. Questions are based on decades of workplace psychology research and delivered intelligently, giving employers actionable real-time insights to make smarter decisions. We can even recommend specific engagement initiatives powered by cutting-edge generative AI. Quali is completely customizable and mobile-first. Native apps on iOS and Android and over 20 languages deliver the most engaging user experience, especially for remote workforces. Because Quali acts as a wrapper to existing technology, we integrate with over 130 systems, including ATS, HCM, and payroll. Having led high-performing teams for MNCs, we founded Quali because we understand the paramount importance of engaged people within organizations. Our technology is centered around the employee, ensuring it is utilized effectively, positively impacting professional satisfaction, and measurably enhancing a company's bottom line. Our clients hire for skill, Quali then maximizes the differentiating will. We aim to democratize access to best practices and capabilities, empowering companies of all sizes to cultivate meaningful workplaces that people love. As we enter the US market, our team is well on the way to exceeding $1 million in ARR. We work with over 180 leading international clients across multiple industries, including KFC, where Quali has helped achieve 17% higher productivity, 24% lower attrition, and 41% lower absenteeism. The global employee experience market is projected to be valued at $11 billion by 2028, and we anticipate a world where the best workplace cultures are powered by Quali. Thank you.
So that was Charlie from Quali. And now we have Vip, who's coming to the stage, who is the co-founder and CTO. And we'll start our questions with Angela.
Can you tell me a little bit about the competitive set for you in this space and what you think is the key differentiator?
Hi, Angela. Certainly. We've found that there are really two groups of competitors for us, and we've split those out by engagement organizations. So like some of the other presentations today, those that are measuring sentiment throughout the workplace. And then there's another segment of competitors that are looking to drive journeys, typically onboarding solutions. What we've tried to do at Quali is bring both of those capabilities together in one solution, because we know that both of those are required when we look at the employee experience throughout the employee lifecycle. And for us, that means from the moment an offer letter is signed to when the employee would leave the organization. So we start before day one, really looking at the pre-boarding opportunities to drive alignment and belonging, to take away some of that anxiety that people feel when they're starting a new job. And we carry that through with engagement all the way through to offboarding when that person's ready to leave.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Great. Dedu, over to you.
Thank you. So my specific question is in terms of your future plans, considering the employee engagement or the employee experience trends right now for the next 2 or 3 odd years. So what are your future plans considering these trends? What is in store for you? Apart from the North America expansion that we spoke about within the application.
Sure, certainly. Thank you, Dedu. For us, there's a lot to be had, we believe, in empowering employees and managers in the organization to improve the workplace for everyone. So with our enterprise background, I was previously in the financial services sector, leading large teams. I've seen firsthand the value proposition of great managers looking after their teams and what impact that can have in the organization. So for us, it's about a solution, and we've created Quali for employees first. Most HR technology, as you'll appreciate, is not. It's really designed for an HR coordinator or an HR department. Quali is made for the employees and the managers in the organization to give them their own empowerment. AI is obviously at the front of our technology roadmap, and I think there's a great deal of potential that can bring. We've already incorporated generative AI, as Charlie mentioned in the video, where we're bringing in those capabilities of understanding survey data. So not only are we listening to employees intelligently through our bite-sized surveys, but we interpret their responses in real time, and then we can proactively give managers and leaders in the organization improvement recommendations based on the data that the employees are providing. We think that capability will continue to improve with the advances that we'll see in AI.
Sure. Thank you so much. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Great. And David, close us out for this section.
So going back to Angela's question, could you just give me one tangible example of if I already have an HRAS, if I have a performance and engagement platform, I have an ATS, I have Slack, I have all these tools. What's the thing that I can do with Quali that I can't do with all those other things, that you think is really compelling?
Yeah, we see Quali as a wrapper to a lot of existing technology in the organization. So the example that I can use, David, is the bits and pieces that are in an iPhone. Screens existed before, software existed before, speakers and cameras existed before, but it's the alignment of those capabilities that makes something more useful. And what we've done is incorporate a lot of those best practices into Quali and bring them into a tool set that's mobile first. That's one of our key differentiators, is that we have a native mobile app. It's not a web app. It's designed to be extremely engaging with the organization, the employees involved. And our technology helps to connect the generations in an organization by having that type of technology. So what we see our clients do is flatten, if you like, their piecemeal of technology solutions. So they may be using independent survey tools. They may be using form filling capabilities with other capabilities, other tools. We can consolidate all of that into one unified solution that makes it more accessible, easier to administer, and more powerful in terms of the data that comes back to the organization.
Thank you.
Great. Thank you, Vip. Now, as the judges take their notes and their scores on their judging sheets, how can people find out more about Quali?
Thank you, Steve. We'd invite everyone to visit us at quali.com. And as I mentioned before, both of our apps are available on the app stores. Feel free to download the app and click on View Demo for a free interaction and an insight into the app.
Great. Thanks for being here, and thanks for being a participant. And
thank you.
We're going to bring up our final one for today. Giorgio Barnarbo, co-founder and CEO of Silotips.
Hello everyone, my name is Giorgio Barnabò. I'm CEO and co-founder of Silotips, the ultimate AI-powered platform for optimizing knowledge sharing and skill mapping in your organization. Due to inefficient dissemination and retrieval of critical knowledge among various stakeholders, on average, employees spend up to 3 hours a day searching for information. This challenge impacts operational efficiency, decision-making, and staff training. Welcome Silotips, a unified communication and knowledge-sharing platform tailored to your organization's needs. But what is that makes us unique? Silotips stands out as the only platform that seamlessly integrates both structured and tacit knowledge of your organization into a single hub. Through its channel-based framework and interactive discussions, Silotips effectively captures and repurposes the expertise of your workforce. Our robust gamification feature encourages valuable contributions, while our multilingual semantic search engine and our conversational AI capabilities facilitate effortless engagement with both documents and insights harvested through Silotips discussions. While there are competitors in the market, Silotips stands out with its comprehensive approach to knowledge transfer. Unlike others, we offer a unique combination of integrated features like skill mapping, automatic question routing, and conversational AI capabilities, making us the optimal choice for both small teams and entire organizations. In terms of market, we have already made significant strides. In March 2024 alone, we are launching 5 different paid POCs with leading Italian companies like Leonardo Assicurazioni, Inuit, and Thales Alenia Space. Currently, we're also embarking on the prestigious Techstars Startup Acceleration Program that has a 1% acceptance rate worldwide. But how does Silotips elevate HR? By providing a single platform that fosters a culture of transparency, inclusion, and continuous learning. Our solution empowers employees to collaborate effectively, access information throughout their organization, and contribute meaningfully to discussions. Now, let me finally introduce you to our exceptional team. With a diverse blend of expertise in AI, technology, design, and business, we're well equipped to tackle the challenges of knowledge sharing head-on. So, are you ready to revolutionize how knowledge circulates in your organization? Join us on this exciting journey with Silotips. Thank you for your attention.
Thanks so much for your presentation, Giorgio. Welcome to the stage.
Thank you very much.
Dedu, would you like to get us started for this round?
We cannot hear you. You're muted.
Dedu, you're muted.
Thanks. Yes, I just realized that. So thank you so much for that. In this presentation, I did hear about one of the unique features being that of a skill mapping as well as the expertise mapping. So I just wanted to hear a little bit more on that, of how are you enabling that within the organization or the client?
Yeah. Most companies currently rely on static methodologies to track down employees' expertise, basically using surveys, for example. But Silotips revolves the paradigm and analyzes what discussions each employee has participated in, and based on the tags that have been automatically generated for that discussion, it creates links between the employee and the topics he has contributed to, and later these topics are connected into a complex graph to extract high-level, I would say, knowledge domains that the employee has been most active on.
Sure. Thanks a lot for that. But
Thank you.
Just one more point.
Yeah,
of
please.
How is it directly impacting the business? So one is from a knowledge management. I understand that it's more from an engagement point of view, the experience point of view.
Yeah, the fact is that personally I find that to create more engagement in a company where people spend most of their time discussing with their colleagues, working on specific projects, it's better to create engagement through a more engaging, welcoming knowledge sharing platform instead of building other tools for creating engagement. In this case, Silotips has, for example, ranking features. It attributes badges and points to those people who have contributed the most. It highlights, it automatically tracks down experts inside the organization and expose them to the whole company. And this automatically ignites a sort of virtuous circle of collaboration and cross-departmental exchanges.
Sure. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Great. David, over to you.
Hello. So what I'm wondering about is if I have something like a Confluence or a Notion or an existing internal knowledge center, why would I use Silotips? Is it you just mentioned something like, well, we have gamification, we have conversational chat or AI chat. I'm trying to what would Silotips offer that like Notion and Confluence don't?
Yeah, Notion and Confluence are document-based knowledge management platforms. Silotips is focused on tacit knowledge. So when you create a discussion on Silotips, you do it to extract somehow feedback and knowledge that is hidden in your colleagues' brains. Of course, you need to create a connection between the structured knowledge of a company and the tacit knowledge. So every time you create a discussion inside Silotips, you can link it to external databases of resources, mostly documents, so that at the end of the discussion, people can use a conversational AI not only to chat and to retrieve knowledge from the conversation, but also from all the associated documents. So you want to basically integrate structured knowledge with all the knowledge that emerges from interactions among colleagues. Think about your daily life in your working environment. You spend so much time chatting in an unstructured way that all that knowledge is lost. It's lost. You need to create a different format that promotes the reuse of that tacit knowledge and the integration of it with documented knowledge. Thank you.
Thank you.
Great, Angela. Last question, over to you.
And how do you measure the improvement in knowledge?
Basically, this is a very hard question because in general, all the communication and knowledge management platforms don't really have a clear ROI, for example. I mean, it's hard to measure the return on investment of such platforms, for example, of Slack. What we measure is the reduction, for example, in messages sent on ephemeral chatting platforms like Slack, and the reduction in emails sent, the volume of emails sent. Because the first promise of Slack was to eliminate emails, but now people use both emails and Slack channels because Slack channels cannot really manage complex discussions. They mix everything together. They're somehow messy. So our goal is to create a more structured space where knowledge accumulates orderly and is later reusable. But it's a good question, and to be honest, there is no clear answer. Like for Slack, for example, we measure still the reduction in the volume of messages on other platforms like emails, Slack, and Discord, for example, Microsoft Teams.
I appreciate the candor. Thank you, Giorgio.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Giorgio. While they write down their notes and their scores, how can more people find out about SHRMLabs?
We currently offer a discounted price for paid POCs somehow, and you can contact us directly through our website. Let me write it down here because it's a bit complex. SHRMLabs, YLLOTIPS. You can read it in the chat. You can contact us for a demo, and you can find a lot of resources on our website as well. Thank you very much.
Thanks for being here. So that completes our round of pitches. Let's give our competitors a round of applause. I always think this is hilarious on virtual. Yay! What I'd like to do is, judges, go to the Zoom link in the chat, please. I will join you in just a second, and you can start your deliberations, and I'll continue here with our attendees, and I'll join you in just a sec, okay? The judges will now deliberate on the pitches they saw. While they do that, if you haven't done so already, please visit the voting page now to make sure your vote gets cast for your favorite solution. The voting period will close in 10 minutes. Votes are being tallied in real time, and we will announce both the winner determined by the judges, who will move on to the next round, as well as the winner of the public vote, the people's choice, after the judges' deliberation. Vote now using the link in the chat. In the meantime, Lucy Adams, CEO of Disruptive HR, sat down with us to share her expertise on today's topic of employee engagement. Please enjoy this insightful discussion while I go talk to the judges. We'll be right back.
Hello, and welcome to the SHRMLabs Fireside Chat Series as part of our 2024 Better Workplaces Challenge Cup. My name is Trevor Shockner. I'm a product manager at SHRMLabs, and I'll be your host for this short series. Today, we're very honored to have Lucy Adams, the CEO at Disruptive HR, who's going to join us for a discussion on today's topic, employee engagement. Lucy, welcome to the stage, and thanks so much for joining us.
Oh, thanks, Trevor. Good to be here.
Awesome. Before we begin, do you mind telling the audience a little bit about yourself, your role, and your company?
Yeah, sure. Thank you. So I kind of describe myself as a recovering HR director. Been an HR director for many, many years in some large organizations, and probably the one that your audience will have heard of. I headed up the people function at the BBC, and it's been probably about coming up for 10 years since I left corporate HR. And I left really because I was just getting frustrated with my own profession, with the way that we were doing things. And on the one hand, we felt like we'd got this kind of really disrupted world and things were changing fast. And yet I was still doing things as an HR professional in the way that I'd done them in the 1990s. So that's where my company Disruptive HR comes from. And we've been working, as I say, for about 10 years with companies all over the world, leaders, HR professionals, just to help them do things differently, to do the kind of people practices in a much more fresh and agile way.
That's great. That's great. And really cool to hear, you know, your former company, BBC, everybody obviously admires them as a company. So would love to jump right into the topic area. You know, employee experience is crucial for retention and productivity. I think most HR people are aware of that, but do you have any tactical or strategic recommendations for creating a really positive employee experience? And then also to tag along to that, it's kind of a second part of the question. How do you think organizations can leverage technology, especially collaboration tools or employee engagement platforms, to really enhance that for their employees?
I mean, I think the employee experience, there's loads of buzz about employee experience right now, isn't there? If you kind of type it into Google, you get millions of responses. Type it into LinkedIn, seems like everybody's got it in their job title. But I think employee experience is unfortunately something that we've perhaps rebadged and relabeled a lot of the HR profession as being about now, and yet we haven't actually changed the contents. And I think employee experience is incredibly different to employee engagement. Experience and engagement are actually very, very different things. I think when you look at employee experience, it's all about starting from the position of the end user, the employee. What are their pain points? What are their needs? What are their wants? What are the things that they are looking for as a customized experience for them when they go into the workplace? And it's not just a nice experience, you know, an employee experience that has power and impact is one that's really aligned to who you are. It's differentiated. It's about your brand. It's about what you're promising your customer. So if you look at, say, Airbnb, who were pioneers in this field, what they said was that we want an experience for our people that's aligned to our brand promise of belong anywhere, feel at home anywhere. And so they looked at some really kind of differentiated tactics and strategies to ensure that that brand promise for their customers and the experience promise for their employees were really nicely aligned. I think it's also with employee experience about thinking more about the moments that matter. You know, there are so many of them in our employee life cycle, those interactions with our employees, but there's actually not that many that are the ones that really shape our experience. And I think if we can identify those and then identify how we want people to feel at each stage of those processes, we can really make what we're doing in HR an absolute game changer around employee experience. I think in terms of your second part of the question, the range of tech that can be used, there's tons of stuff out there now. And I think it can be a bit bewildering for HR professionals. What I would say is that it needs to be reflective of the experience that you want to create. You know, it needs to be easy to use. It needs to be intuitive. We don't always want to have to leave what we're doing and go to another platform. The more that we can integrate it in what we're doing, the better. So I think, you know, we can maybe come to talk about some of the other technology later on, but I think that there is, you know, a huge raft of enablers that technology can be used to facilitate this fantastic experience. But it does need to be something that is really easy to use and intuitive. If we're having to put people on training programs to work out how to use the tech, it's not where it needs to be.
Such a great point. And I love kind of what you're saying about really, you have to have a vision in mind for what you want your employees' experience to be before you can put anything into place. And I think that's a great place to start.
Sorry to interrupt. I think, and also being clear about how do you want them to feel. You know, as an HR director myself, I, you know, rarely asked that question. I was so focused on what's the process need to be, streamlining that process. How do we apply it to everybody? But actually really thinking about how do we want people to feel in that moment? And that can make us much more creative in HR. It can make us think much more laterally. It makes us really connect with the human beings at the end of our processes.
It's so amazing. It reminds me a lot of what I do as a product person, where you're trying to make sure that you really understand what it's like to be in a
Absolutely.
user's shoes, or in this case, the employee's shoes. And you're in the business of creating a great emotional, physical, well-being experience holistically for your employees. So it's such a great way to look at it. I love that. I'd love to pivot a little bit into hybrid work and how that's kind of impacted employee engagement. But with the rise of hybrid work models, how do you think organizations can maintain this strong sense of culture and community that will help improve employee engagement, especially when people aren't physically present in an office all the time?
Yeah. And of course, it's more challenging in many ways, but I think we have to hold on to the fact that it isn't the office that creates a culture. It isn't the physical building that creates a culture. What creates culture is about how we treat people, how we interact with them, how we make decisions, what we focus on. So I think, if we're clear about those aspects, then actually that translates regardless of whether people are alongside us or whether they're working remotely. But going back to what I said earlier, I think being clear about those moments that matter, those key interactions where it does make more sense for us to be together, I think can help shape our hybrid models. A lot of HR professionals are wrestling with the fact that should it be back in the office, or should it be at home, or should it be certain days of the week? And I think the more that we can think about it in the more employee focused frame of mind, where we're thinking, what are the moments that matter, where it means that we need to be together, because it's just better, right? It's just better when we're together. There's an organization here in the UK, and they're a big public sector organization, not one that we usually expect to have lots of innovation, but I love their approach to hybrid working. They said the guidance for managers about when people should be in the office is when it has purpose and value. Not 3 days a week or 2 days a week. That's kind of old-fashioned thinking. But instead, when does it have purpose and value for us to be together? So I think that's a useful way of thinking about it, and gets us away from this 3-day mantra that a lot of organizations have adopted. I think when we look at communications more generally in relation to hybrid, actually within team communications and interactions, they actually go up, because we're not spending so much time traveling and so on. So we actually see that our immediate team, we're communicating with them more. But we know what can get lost is that kind of broader collaboration. Those moments where you happen to bump into somebody by the lift, at the water cooler. And so I think companies need to work harder at creating those informal interactions, perhaps outside of your team. So we've got examples of VaynerMedia. They did something called 12 at 12, which is 12 random people from across the organization being invited at 12 o'clock to a half-hour Zoom call, just to no work to be done, just to introduce themselves and talk about what they're interested in and introduce themselves as human beings. So they're working at forming those connections. I think also we're seeing that, when we are together, it's about how we're using our physical space. So we're seeing organizations clearly, getting rid of those banks of desks and instead moving to a much more collaborative feel for our offices. So when people come in, they're not just sitting there doing their emails. And I think there's also something about how can we reduce the so-called proximity bias of people who are working remotely versus those who are in the office. So, I like what Coinbase do, where they say if you're joining a meeting and there are some people who are joining remotely, then we all join as if we were remote, even if we're in the office. So it's kind of creating that level playing field. So I think the key thing is, again, start with the human being rather than mandating what we all have to do in terms of 3 days in, 2 days out, and think about how can we truly embrace the benefits of hybrid rather than seeing it as a problem.
Great point. And you mentioned, I want to kind of go deeper on some of the communication tools that you mentioned. Obviously, there's a lot of options out there for communication tools for distributed teams, but how do you think organizations, specifically HR people, should navigate the array of different communication channels? You have email, Slack, Teams, Zoom calls. How do you think they should really make sure that this is an inclusive experience for all employees?
So I think the starting point here is to make use of employee persona. And I'm sure many of your listeners will be familiar with the concept.
Sorry to cut the discussion short. It was really good, but you can watch the video in its entirety using the link in the chat. Let's give a hand to all these great companies once again for competing today. As mentioned at the beginning, one of these companies received the most votes and will now be recognized as the People's Choice. And the People's Choice for this segment is Quali. Congratulations to the folks there at Quali. Finally, one of the companies will be moving forward and will compete in the semifinals of the 2024 Better Workplaces Challenge Cup. So let's get to it. The winner of this segment of employee engagement is Silotips. Major congratulations to Silotips, and we will look forward to your participation in the semifinals. You will get to hear from the top 3 finalists from the first 2 rounds in a special episode of our Workplace Tech Spotlight in June. We hope to see you there. Thank you, judges and participants, and thank you for attending. Please note that this event qualifies for 2 PDCs towards your SHRM CP or SCP certification. The code to use is 24-KV67H, and we will display the code here in a second. For the code. Maybe it's in the chat. There it is. All right. There's the code. Take a picture of that. Make sure to enter it for your certification hours. We'll be back in 2 weeks with segment 3 of round 1 on Tuesday, April 2nd. As already mentioned, the top company from each first round segment will move on to the semifinals. And the top 3 from the semifinals will move into the finals at SHRM's annual conference and exposition this year in June 23rd through 26th in Chicago. Please visit our website, which we are posting in the chat here, to stay informed and register to attend our future events. We hope you can join us then. Have a great day, everyone. We'll see you soon.